All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started on the live stream. Give me an audio check. Let me know how everything sounds, and we'll just get into these charts, figure out what's going on. A couple things I do want to point out that happened on Friday with this this SMCI, which is a AI stock. We know that the AI stocks have been pretty much in like mania mode, where just everybody, look, AI, it's really interesting. I started playing with it the last couple months, messing with it. For sure, it's definitely going to have an impact on how we, do things. But in general, it doesn't mean it's going to all happen right now, and profit is all going to happen right now. And, again, I think there's still some work to do there. So stocks have gone like basically parabolic that are in the AI space, and a big part of why we've seen really the general market carry up is just the mathematics of the market and how the weightings go, and it comes down to this NVIDIA. So NVIDIA now is I think it's the third largest company in the American stock market, and I believe the fourth largest company in the entire world. This is based on market cap. So because of how passive investing and indexing has really taken hold of the market in the last decade, basically, it's all about market weighting. So if something, basically money comes in like 401ks, they divvy out that money based on the weighting of, if they're just buying the index, the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is a weighted index, and so money goes into the stocks that are the highest weighted stocks. So if NVIDIA goes up, it has a tendency to drag the just the broad market up, and that holds true for all the Mag 7, those large cap tech stocks. I think I'd have to double check, guys, but I think I've heard somewhere that technology makes up over 30% now of the S&P 500. And if you really, and then that's why triple Qs for me is so important, because that's technology. So, any one sector weighing 30% of the S&P 500 is the largest sector, obviously. And then if you look at the triple Qs, okay, what makes up the technology sector? And it's basically, 6 or 7 stocks. So we have 6 or 7 companies, basically running the entire stock market. So that's why it's important to watch those. NVIDIA, I don't see here on the charts anything that indicates to me anything that is a sell signal. I did start taking a starting short position on Friday in this one. It's profitable as of right now, but again, that can change for sure. The markets are closed on Monday. The futures are open, so the futures will be trading. So we should open Tuesday to a gap, I would think, with the futures trading. It doesn't mean it's going to be a gap up or gap down. I don't exactly know there, but and it doesn't have to be a large gap either. But yeah, I did start taking a short trade on this one. Now, there's no real clear sell signal on it, so it is definitely like a higher risk. And I kept my position pretty small because for that reason, I don't have a definitive sell signal. On NVIDIA, the larger trend is down here, starting back in October, and you can see it was just marching up that trend there. So that basically is that's the bull trend in NVIDIA. And right here, we did get, this is, if you really look at it, it's an outside day. All right. That's an outside day right there. And basically what happened is we opened higher than the previous day and closed slightly lower, inches lower than the previous day. So it is an outside day. We'll see if there's confirmation. Like, it's not a very clear outside day, but an outside day by nature is also a bearish engulfing candle. So that's what we have there in NVIDIA. Now I'm looking for confirmation to help confirm, which would be more downside on Tuesday. Maybe a gap down or something like that. We get that. That's probably going to mean that we've started a near-term pullback, and I think we're heading down to that major trend line, wherever that might fall, you know. Okay, so that's what I have in NVIDIA, and then this one of the reasons why I took a short position in NVIDIA is this big reversal candle on SMCI, which is this is another one of those kind of hype stocks. This thing's just basically gone parabolic. You roll out and look. I mean, this is healthy bull market action here. I mean, that's fine. Nothing really wrong there. But this and this here, and especially this last move where it's just that looks like a blow off top. All right, that looks like a buying climax, blow off top. Look at the volume. All right, if you guys, I don't point out volume too often, but see the volume right there. That's a buying climax. That's basically FOMO. All right, and typically you see moves like this with volume spikes to signaling the end of rallies. All right, and all, just big moves straight up like that, parabolic moves with volume. That's FOMO, and that is, you just look for the reversal signal, and there it is right there. All right, bearish engulfing, outside day. All right, and then if I look at the hourly chart here, I also was kind of tracking the trend, trying to find that trend. To me, I have two lines. I think that's the best fit, to be honest, this is just the hourly chart. Resistance, or sorry, support. It's all support through here, and then big reversal candle, on the hourly, and then just break of trend. So that's all. That's everything you have. So I'm short this one as well, and I don't have a huge position because this, I suspect, is going to be a pretty volatile ride down, just like it was a pretty volatile ride up. I suspect it's going to be a pretty volatile ride down. I'd probably want to add, if we get maybe like a gap up on Tuesday, like up to the trend line or something like that, I'll probably add to a short position. But that's a ways up there, that's a 10, 11% just to that up there. So yeah, that's how I'd probably trade that. But this should go lower. We have a break of trend. We have a big bearish engulfing outside day reversal candle. So I don't know if you get the back test or not. Again, if it does back test right up in there, boom, it should just get sold right into, and down we go. I think we're going we should retrace this entire parabolic move. So, and so I see us heading back down to about 354.90, 355-ish, somewhere right in there. Okay, and that's a big drop. All right, from where we're at now, that's a drop of about 54%. So I don't think it's going to happen straight down. I think the dip buyers will probably step in at some point. You'll get some sort of large kind of rally day, but I do think you're going to head down there eventually. So I think it's going to crash, and then maybe with one big huge rally day mixed in between that crash. All right, so that's SMCI, and that's a big semiconductor. That is that's a sign that we're seeing some of the air come out of this AI bubble. Okay, so, and NVIDIA is the king of AI, so obviously I think if we start seeing some of these other ones fall, we'll see NVIDIA start to fall too. ARM is another one. I don't see much in this one. We didn't get a big outside day or anything like that. So we'll see. Keep an eye on that one. That's another one of those hype mania stocks that this one just IPO'd. Okay. So that's what I have on those. And then obviously if NVIDIA, given that it's the third largest company, and if that starts to roll over, it's going to put pressure on these these Mag 7 stocks. Let's do a quick little run through of these, and then I'll get into your guys' charts. Triple Qs, support. I keep erasing this because when I put out the videos, I try to clean up my charts. Or when I do private member group posts, I try to clean up my charts, so I erase my stuff. Okay, there's support. You can see on Friday, closing right at that trend line. So the trend line's super obvious now to everybody. So to me, that tells me that it's probably pretty unlikely that we're just going to break that trend line intraday. That just would be too easy for the bulls. The bulls should be buying right here, okay? But it would be too easy for the bulls to just be able to buy on support and then just intraday start to roll over and break trend line and allow them to just exit their long positions on a nice, clean, easy trade. Typically, what you'll see is a gap. So that's what I'm kind of expecting. I'm expecting a gap where we gap down and trap the bulls who really shouldn't be buying. They're buying because a lot of bulls say the trend is your friend and stick with the trend, but the divergences tell me that it's not really favorable to be buying at support right now. You can buy if you're bullish, but in general, these negative divergences are saying that this trend is long in the tooth. It's probably ending, and we're likely going to gap down. So that's my guess. Right now, it's of course just a guess because we're still holding trend, but negative divergence, yeah, it tells me we're going to gap down. So I think we probably gap down below, I don't know. Let me see how big of a move that would be. Yeah, somewhere down here maybe below this 425.50-ish, gap down, trap all these long, late to the party bulls, and then see that kind of impulsive breakdown kind of move. All right, that's what I'm looking for on that one. Apple. Hey, KP Travel Journey. Appreciate it. I will get to yours right after I get through the broad stuff. Apple. All right, look at that. So if I go on the daily, all right, this is going back to January. We got support. There's another one. This is a third reaction. I know the candle's broken through it, but it was a quick snap right back above support. So there's another one. And you could even, or let me redraw this. There's another way to potentially look at this. I could go like that, could be like that too, but we'll just leave it as that. In general, you can see we broke that trend. Technically it broke on Thursday, but not that impulsive, so definitely nothing I would really call out. And it was above the 200, but on Friday, that's a pretty clean break and below the 200. Okay, so that's the first daily close below the 200 since October of 2023. All right, and then this one, we had that, we didn't really have a trend line at that point, but they established the trend line. Now we have a close below the 200, and there really is no trend line. You do have horizontal support right here. You can see I've kind of got that marked out where we have enough reactions to validate it. You can see we kind of messed with it there. There's another one. So that's support right now, 181.60. So what I would say is a definitive break, impulsive break of that level is kind of your next major sell signal in Apple. And, that's likely the sell signal I'd be looking for in Apple. That's going to signal that this thing's going to really start to roll over. You'll probably see that in collaboration with breakdowns in like NVIDIA and the triple Qs. But as of right now, I don't really want to short Apple. I want to wait for that to go. Okay. Let's see here. Amazon, we'll just kind of run through these. Amazon still that bear or that island cluster top potential. We need to see the gap down Also a little uptrend line right here. So if it does gap down, it'll probably gap and break this trend line. Okay, and so if you see that, that's going to be an island cluster top. That's going to be a break of this short-term trend line. You should head straight down to 144-ish, 143.70. But that will signal a long-term lasting top. So I think you go like this. Gap down, support, bounce. But you're going to ultimately put in a longer-term lasting top with this island cluster. So look for that. It's not there yet. I need to see the gap down. And then Meta. Same deal on Meta. Uptrend line. Potential island cluster top. All right. We're just waiting for signals there. Google. Okay, so Google, clean this chart up a little bit. Google, you can see on the daily chart, you know, we had some support here. Let's see if I can kind of make, you know, it's the best I can really do is kind of that. It's the kind of the best I can do from a support line. Several reactions there. They tried to hold it Thursday, Friday they failed. All right, so we'll you know, we're gonna take that as a breakdown, and then I have some support just underneath at 138.90. So if you want to be conservative, you could wait for that to go. But yeah, that looks bearish rising wedge. Divergence has been building for a while, negative divergence. So yeah. That one looks like a breakdown to me. As far as I can tell, we have a breakdown in Apple and Google. The ones that are still holding up is Amazon, Meta. Let's see, Microsoft. Microsoft broke down on, so we on this gap down right here on Tuesday. So you can see uptrend line, gap down, just treaded water, but it's starting to roll over. So it could hold water a little bit longer and just kind of tread. But again, I think we're heading down here to a little bit more of a major trend line. There is a potential. Let me see if I can mark this out. Maybe a little trend line right there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like that one. Okay, so I'm just going to consider that a breakdown for now. And I think we're heading down lower. All right. So that's Microsoft. So really, if you think about it, the ones we got holding the market up, because the triple Qs hasn't really gone anywhere over the last few days. Let me just go back to that real quick. You know, I mean, we gap down, we rally, we're selling off. We're not, you know, it looks like we're moving up, but in general, I mean, we're not. We're kind of... We only were up here for a few days and then gapped right back down, rally back down. Okay, so we're kind of treading water really since about, you know, basically 2-3 weeks maybe. And it's because these large cap tech stocks, some have been selling off, but Nvidia's been rallying. So, and because it's number 3, it's keeping the market held up. So Amazon, Meta, and Nvidia, those are the ones that are important for me to watch. The others look like they've broken down. So, that's why we've been treading water. And then Tesla. There's Tesla rallying. I think Tesla's probably going to go fill this gap right here at 206.71. Okay, that's the Mag 7. Let me get into your guys' stuff. Drop me a thumbs up if you guys haven't done so. Feel free to join the private member group. I'm posting stuff in there, but again, I really only try to post things that look interesting. If we don't see anything, then I just I wait. I really try to give you guys trade ideas that look very high, with high probability. SGD, Safe and Green Development. What do these guys do? Real estate. So very interest rate sensitive. So I would definitely keep an eye on that. This thing just IPO'd in what, 20? Yeah, just IPO'd. So not a lot of history. Whenever you have a IPO that just comes out, technical analysis usually doesn't work too good. It's kind of just a gamble. I don't have really anything I can chart here. There's no trend line. I mean, you don't have divergence. I don't know. I can't make anything of the chart, to be honest. There's just not enough data. Potential downtrend line right here to keep an eye on. So maybe something like that. Yeah, it's above it, but I don't know. That's not really a breakout. So yeah, sorry on that one. I don't know. That's just a gamble. It's not. You can't really use not on the daily chart. On the hourly, you can maybe get some stuff going on the hourly. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything there. Okay, so let's move on. We've got a firm. All right, back to the daily chart. Oh, that's a breakdown. I didn't see that one on Friday. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, though. Let me get down to the hourly on this one. You know what I want to do, because we did have this reaction low, I want to just move my trend line down. All right. Give it the benefit of the doubt on that one and move that down just a little and say that's our support. About 37.90-ish. Okay, so we break that, and then I think we flush straight down to 25. Excuse me, guys. Still kind of getting over this cold. All right, so that's what I've got. Negative divergence is intact. I think it's going to go, to be honest. All right, so I'm going to have to keep this one up on my trading platform, make sure I catch that one. But I think we're going like that. And that's a potential drop, 33%. Yeah. So I very much like this as a short trade. Maybe just a little more downside to help confirm. But this is a thin zone right here. We should flush right through that. There just wasn't a whole lot of trading that took place in terms of there's no support, because they never tested any levels. So they just rallied it right through there. So the last time, so the support is down here. This is where, the resistance was at, and so that should be the new support, and so that's what I would look is for a flush straight down there, and it'll probably just run right into the 200-day, just boom, crash right down into the 200-day, and that would be, if I was going to be short, and I most likely will be, I would cover my short as we approach that 200-day. Very good trade setup there. UNG, and I don't have any feeling on natural gas, guys. I don't want to touch that one right now. I just, I don't want to mess with it. You've got potential. I had these potential bullish divergences of what I was looking for, and there's like a line I had drawn out, and you can see we're starting to turn up in the RSI. So, that would be, you want to see that start to turn up to help confirm that divergence. And then the PPO, it's got to turn up soon. So potential bullish divergence, but no buy signal. And you just have potential divergence. Got to give this one a little more time. I just don't have anything there. I already covered SMCI. So that one is a short trade. Newmont, Barrick, First Majestic. All right, gold. I don't know about gold, to be honest. Let me go with Newmont. So these are the trend lines that I have right now. Let me clear that up. Let me get rid of that. I really almost feel like I need to get rid of this at this point. This lower, this is support, okay. They stepped in a little early, but earnings coming up, I don't know, to be honest. Could go either way. If they gap down on earnings, you're probably going to gap down to this trend line down here, I would think. And you don't, I mean, you could have divergence right there. Honestly, I would just wait for earnings. We'll take a look at this after earnings on that one. And this is the largest gold miner. It's the most heavily weighted one in the GDX. So kind of as this one goes, I think you're going to see some of these others go the same way. Barrett Gold. Downtrend line here. Make sure I got that marked out. It's above it, but just barely. That's not clean enough of like to call that a breakout. So I don't know. I think again, Newmont. We'll wait for Newmont earnings and then we'll come back to those. All right, CLS. I don't even know what this is. Electronic components. Okay. Well, I guess that's my trend line. It's not my favorite, but I've got a couple reactions down here and then one right there. So that's the best I can do on that trend line. Again, the more reactions, the better. The more defined, then the more noticeable to people and the algos and all that. And so when you get breaks of very noticeable trend lines, when everyone notices something, they react accordingly. And so that's why a trend line that's well defined is better. To me, I mean, you have divergence for sure. I don't have any sell signals on this. Is this a semiconductor? Nah, I don't know. I don't know what these guys do, but if they're tied to the semiconductors, I would just follow suit with like NVIDIA and stuff. But as of right now, I wouldn't be buying this thing long, but I wouldn't be shorting it either. So I don't see any clear signs right now. Let me look at the hourly. I mean, you got hourly divergence. It's starting to roll over. You can see, look, this whole move right here, that's the move on the daily. But when you look at it the hourly, it's like this. Rally up. Okay, pull back. Rally up. Okay, and look at the momentum. Momentum, stronger momentum. Okay, no issues. No issues. Boom, rally up. Okay, starting to diverge. Momentum's fading. Here's another push. Okay, less momentum. Okay, we have divergence. This is how it goes. And then another push, even less momentum. The rally's fading there on the hourly. So in the near term, I would expect it's gonna probably break this hourly and head down to this more major trend line. Okay? And so that's what I'd be looking for. But it doesn't mean it just goes straight down. It could like chop sideways and just barely drift. All right? So that's what I would look for. All right, so save. What is this one? Spirit. All right, so travel stuff. I know there's some news with Icon buying or taking a stake. He's an activist investor taking a stake in JetBlue. And the JetBlue's Spirit merger is bust. Someone was saying there's divergence here, but I don't see it. I mean, yeah, it's probably on the hourly, but on the daily, I see bullish momentum. And look at that big wick candle there. But I see bullish price action. So it's not divergence. Divergence is when momentum is moving opposite of price action. I don't see divergence here. This must have been the news. I don't know what this is. This must have been the big merger bust or something. When I see this one, so there's my downtrend. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to short this. I'm not going to short something that's just way down here, plunged, and with an RSI, you know, the RSI's recovered, but I mean, yeah, I'm not going to short this. Do I want to go long? I mean, I don't see divergence, but if I had to pick a direction, I'd rather go long than short on that one. You know, could continue to rally. I don't see enough there for me to be interested in it though. I want to go long things that are falling and they have divergence, and right when they break out and break trendline resistance, that's when I want to go long. This just doesn't have that, you know. I want to go long. I want to be early on a trade, right when it's changing trend and nobody necessarily notices. That's the lowest risk area. Okay, so that's that one. Let's have a HE. Let me look at that one. I don't know what. Do we want lean hogs? Is that? I don't know. I don't trade futures, and I don't know if there's an ETN for these. Unless you want to, unless it's this one. Hawaiian Electric. I don't know if you want the futures or. Yeah, I don't have. There's nothing on this one either. No divergence. Okay, moving on from next one. AT&T and BABA. Well, AT&T is just kind of a dividend. Which one do you want me to look at? There's lots of. I suspect you want. Oh, AT&T is T. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure which one you want me to look at there. We can look at BABA. It's been in a downtrend. Yeah, we got some bullish divergence. So there it is on the daily. Okay. So that looks good from a bullish setup. Just need to find this trend line, it just is not great, you know. Resistance. So I guess that's going to be our trend line for now. Yeah, there's one. All right, we'll go with that one. Took me a second. I'm going to get rid of that one for now. We're going to go with this trend line. That one actually is that's a lot better than the other one. So I've got one reaction. I guess we'll call that 2, 3, 4. At least 3, but you know, that's a reaction to me. So let's say 4 reactions. We have bullish divergence, no buy signal. All right, so we need to see this break. A breakout here, you should run right to the 200, probably get a pullback there, maybe a back test. But in general, it would be a buy the dip setup, and that's what I'd be looking for. So no buy signal, need to break this trend line. Yeah, that's what I'd look for. And then, okay, so we can move on. I'll take a look at some of these other Chinese stocks. See if we have kind of the same stuff going on in those. Mara, that's is that Bitcoin stock? I think this is a Bitcoin stock. Big negative. Well, not quite negative divergence. You can see right here, there's your most recent highs. They didn't quite get there on this move. So yeah, didn't quite get there on that move. So I don't know. Earnings coming up. I don't know. They could pop and do something like that on earnings, and that would be your negative divergence, and then we'll start looking for a sell signal. But I wouldn't want to short this thing right here and now, and earnings coming up. So you can gamble if you want. It could go either way. I don't know which way it's going to go, but if you see it up here and then you have negative divergence, then we can start looking. Now we have a setup, and we can start looking for maybe some sort of a sell signal or something like that. Nothing on that one for me. TNX 10-year rate. I think it's going higher. There's the TNX. We need to pop the most, this kind of level right here, which I have at about 4.33% in the 10-year interest rate. You pop that, and honestly, I think we could back test. It's a pretty steep back test, but if I roll out, here's COVID. That's your COVID lows. They spiked down like crazy because the Fed dumped trillions of dollars buying corporate bonds and treasuries and all that. So creating artificial demand for treasuries dropped the interest rates. And then we've been in this bull trend in interest rates ever since. Now that bull trend did break back. So look at this. This is October. Interest rates topped out. They broke trend basically in November, and they've been heading lower. Okay. Now if I go to the S&P 500, there's October. Okay. October. All right. And, rallied. There's your rally. So 110%, everything's based on interest rates. The AI stuff, to me, usually what you'll see at the end of rallies or bull runs is you'll get this kind of mania stuff popping off. Pot stocks, meme stocks. You see all that kind of stuff where it's just like this crazy mania based on nothing, basically. You see all that at the end of rallies, and that's what it looks like to me right now. So the S&P, but the larger trend is based on interest rates. Okay, the larger trend is not based on AI, it's based on interest rates. And so we will watch those interest rates. And what I would say is this big trend line, if you backtest it, let's say we pop here and we do this, some sort of a back test, and boom, interest rates spike up to 5.5% or wherever that back test takes place, then you're just going to have new highs in interest rates, and that's likely going to be meaning market new lows. And that's, to me, very likely new lows, maybe not below COVID right now, but below right here in the S&P 500, below those right there, down below 348, going like this. Maybe down in here or something. All right, so watch those interest rates. Very important. Carvana and Dash. Yeah, you don't really have the divergence. You have it here. I don't know. See, you got earnings coming up, so, and the divergence isn't that clear, so I kind of feel like earnings, maybe they pop it like that, then you have a clear divergence, and then we can start to look for a trade. But here's the trend line. I think this is probably your trend line to watch right here on the daily chart. It's basically basically right there. That's your bull trend line right now to watch. There's no sell signals. You don't really have the negative divergence that I'd like to see, so maybe they pop it and then and then this is a divergence that starts to show up. Okay, and then what I'd look for is a break of this trend line. So this has some work to do. All right, you need to see the sell signal comes on the break of the trend line regardless of what happens. So earnings will come up. I'm kind of leaning towards a pop, a divergence, then we fade that over time, come down to the trend line, and then break and get the sell signal. DoorDash. Earnings is out of the way. See, there's like this little bullish earnings pop. Completely faded. Very next day faded. At support. I don't see enough in the divergence to tell me that it, I mean, like, you have it here in the RSI, or sorry, the PPO. Not fully confirmed yet, though. You want to see this crossover to help confirm that. The RSI, it's close enough. So we can say we have divergence, but we don't have a sell signal. Support, 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 and they closed right on support. So, you know, I don't want to short right on support. You know, you're probably going to get a bounce, maybe gap fill, or, you know. So you're on support until we break that trend line. There's no sell signal. So just be on the lookout for it. If anything, I would rather go long right here for a bounce. Okay, so that's that one. And if it doesn't bounce and you break, that's your sell signal. So you can go long with a stop somewhere below and flip short if you do break. Nutrien, that's NTR. Let's look. Yeah, there's a divergent low right there. Let me kind of clean. That's actually kind of kept that divergence there on the PPO and basically on the RSI. So I think there's still a larger bullish divergence that's been building. This is a break of support. Okay, there's support right there at 52.40. Okay, you can see support, 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 break of support on that little candle right there. Flush out move, and even in the short term, you see right here on this daily, this little short term move up in the momentum. That's on lower price right down in here. That's bullish divergence. So yeah, I actually think this to me looks like a bullish setup, and a potential for a false breakdown bear trap. So I would look for, personally, a recovery of that 52.34 area. All right, if you can recover that, then this is a false breakdown. You should see something like this. If it does recover, it should shoot straight up to this downtrend line. You probably get a reaction there back down to that as support. The buyers will step in, and then I think you break out. So I like this as a long setup, to be honest, but I need to see it recover. You know, and I might buy here for a move up to here. I'll get out of my long. If it comes back down to support, I'll buy. If it goes back up to resistance, I'll probably hold it at that point in anticipation of a breakout. Okay, that's how I'm going to trade it if I see that. But I like that as a long setup. MLKN. Okay, I mean, is this a dividend pair? Nope. Office equipment and supplies. Okay. So that's my trend line. It's the best one I can make there. There might be two. Let me double check. No, I'm going to just stick with this one. I've got 1 reaction, 2, and 3. So I'd say that's my bull trend line there. We have negative divergence. That's a higher high in price, not in momentum. There's your negative divergence in the PPO. Just looks like it's extending. So I'd say there's a good probability that this is going to pull back to this major trend line here. I don't know where it hits that trend line because it's impossible to know, but to me it looks like that's what's in the cards for the short term. If I go down to the hourly, nope. I'd go with that one on my hourly chart. Support, 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 support. Lots of reactions there. So I think you probably go down here, bounce, and ultimately break, and then head down there. And that's that's as far out as I can go on that chart. But yeah, and then if you obviously break that, that would be a sell signal. And if that happens, I'd look for the gap to get filled. Okay, so if I had to guess, it's going to do this, a little bounce, then a break, kind of muddle it, or work our way down to the trend line, get a bounce, and then a break. Well, actually, I don't know if it's going to break, to be honest, but if it breaks, I can't say definitively that's going to break yet, but if it breaks because of this daily divergence, then, you know, work your way down. There's gap, you know, basically gap entry right in here. So you get a bounce at gap entry, and then ultimately break in the future, run down a gap fill, and that's as far out as I'd go. YEXT. So I got that as my support line. Four reactions. Bullish divergence on the daily chart. It's down there on the PPO too. I sometimes have a hard time getting down here to draw it, but bullish divergence. So we had, let's see here, divergent low, and that's a, those last two tags of support actually were divergent lows too. So good objective areas to buy. And if you did, if you bought here, it rallied 14, 15%. If you bought here, it's rallied 17%. So those are you were rewarded for buying divergent lows at support. I don't know. I wouldn't short this thing. I'd rather go long, to be honest. I think it's a long. I don't want to buy it here. I want to buy it down here, you know. So, you know, as a new trade, it's not great, but I'd rather be long this thing. You're probably going to gap fill. Earnings coming up, 200-day overhead. You got another gap way up here. I mean, yeah, I'd rather be long this thing. I mean, gap up here. Gap right here. I think you're going to fill some of these gaps. 200-day earnings coming up. Looks bullish. Who knows? Maybe this thing just explodes higher on earnings. He gets one of those one-day earnings things where it's just like trading way up here. If you see that, that's the exit. All right, that would be the dumb money will be piling in on some sort of mania earnings day when it's rallied a bunch. The smart money bought down here on a divergent low at support, and you'll want to exit on on a big spike higher. At least that's what I would do. All right. Okay. I already covered natural gas, so I'm not going to go into oil. ENPH, I think this person asked me about this one a lot. Interphase. Got some divergence right here. See this negative divergence on the RSI, and it is on the PPO. And if I zoom in on the PPO, oh, never mind. It's not starting to turn down, but it's a divergence. It's just not confirmed yet on the PPO. You're above the 200. I think they fade that. I think you get. If I had to guess, I think they're gonna fade that thing. You know what this looks like to me is wheat. Look at wheat. Very similar. Right back here. See this right in here? Okay, you break a wedge, rally into the 200-day. See the close? I almost have to get in close, but see, close it just a couple days barely above the 200. Negative divergence. And they faded it. So if I go to ENPH, it looks similar. Doesn't that look similar? Yeah. Doesn't mean it plays out that way, but that's what it looks like. I'd say the probability is they fade this thing. Okay. Nikola, NKLA, probably some sort of pump. Oh yeah, this thing's been dumped on. I don't know about this company. I mean, you can't deny that there's bullish divergence there on the daily chart, so I don't want to short it. Yeah, I can't make a clean wedge from the high there. I'd go with that, to be honest. Yeah, if I had to guess, I would go long. Here's my problem, okay? The problem that I have with this, why I would not go long, at least right now, is earnings. It's a breakout. This is a bullish divergence, and you have is it a triangle or is it a wedge? Let me look. It's a bullish falling wedge. Okay. Bullish falling wedge, bullish divergence. It's a bullish setup for sure. And it is a breakout, but it occurred right before earnings. So if you're going to take a position right ahead of earnings, it definitely is a bullish setup, but it's a gamble. You know, it would have been better to see this thing either break out on earnings or after earnings, but to do it right ahead of earnings, no, I don't like that. So I would wait to earnings. Now, yeah, you might miss a big gap up. That's completely possible. So you do what you want to do. Me, I would wait And if it gaps down, you know, that would be a buy zone down here. Maybe they step in and then it breaks out. I don't know. It is a breakout as of now. It's just right ahead of earnings, and I just don't like to see breakouts that occur right ahead of earnings, although the setup is completely bullish. So I've been going for about an hour now, so I think I'll do one more and then I'm going to wrap up. I got to go get something to eat. So let me see what you guys, let's see what we got. We've got CELU. CELU. What is that? Penny stock. I'm not going to cover that one. ALLO. Another junk stock. $5. Therapeutics. Biotech. I'm not going to cover that one either. Anything else you guys want me to cover, or we can just go ahead and wrap up? PayPal? All right, let's cover PayPal. Yeah, so doing what the chart indicated, I guess. Downtrend. A little breakout there on negative divergence. So they faded that, rallied into resistance again. Had negative divergence, rallying in, you know, the negative divergence, that was the divergent high. So, and but that's resistance right there. Gap down on earnings. Yeah, downtrend. That's it. I don't see anything else. There's no bullish divergence. It's just downtrend. So, I guess bottom of the trend. You know, if I had to guess, it could go back to the top, but there's no indication that there's a breakout. So, you know, might go up and then down, but in general, downtrend until we get a trend change. This thing's likely heading down here, guys. This is the IPO of PayPal, and you know, decent support. I drew this out a long time ago, back during COVID, the COVID mania and stuff, but I figured that it was going down to 42.86. And yeah, that's where I think this is heading. So another, you know what, 30, 28, 38, 30%. That'll probably be the lows for PayPal. I mean, PayPal's not going anywhere. That's still, a lot of people use it. So that could be a decent opportunity to buy PayPal at for kind of a longer term long trade. But I suspect if Triple Q's makes that next leg lower, like I'm looking for, if interest rates rise to do that back test that we talked about, and Triple Q's makes another leg lower, then PayPal will be down here, and you know, that might be the time to go long for a longer term trend trade. But yeah, that's what I have on PayPal. Okay, guys, I'll wrap it up. I will catch you guys on Tuesday. I'll probably put out a video. I don't know. The NVIDIA earnings is on Wednesday, I believe. So Tuesday I don't know if anything's going to happen. I think the market's going to just wait for NVIDIA earnings, which is, let me double check, Wednesday. So I don't know if there's a whole lot that's going to change in kind of the broad technical analysis that I've given on Friday or in this live stream that's going to change on Tuesday. So I'll probably put out a video on either Wednesday or Thursday. Is it after the bell? I think it's probably after the bell. So we'll go with Thursday. My next video will probably be on Thursday, where we'll actually have some technical changes. But I will be posting in the private member group after NVIDIA earnings because there might be some trades that are triggering. But the general video that I put out will be next Thursday, most likely. Okay, guys, catch you on the next one. Take care.